Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. It Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hey everyone, it's Thursday again, and I am talking about spontaneity, a joy or a stress. Episode 121? 121 episodes? I don't know where the time is going. But anyhow, what does spontaneity mean to you? Is it a stressor for you, or does it make you feel good being spontaneous? Or does it really depend? Well, as you can see, I am live from Chicago, my favorite building, the Hancock, right behind me. It's my favorite building because I actually lived for 6 weeks, 2 blocks from the Hancock building in 2002. I don't know. I was in some pre-med program, and I could see that building every day for 6 weeks, and it was amazing. So it's naturally my favorite building. So, oh, isn't it cool that it's my view? So anyhow, I'm in Chicago for the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists. Come here every year. Look forward to it. It's always in October and usually seems to cross over my birthday. So birthday shenanigans along with the child psychiatrist conference. Birthday was a few days ago. Yes, I am 42. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I don't look 42. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I had a great time. Honestly, this topic, spontaneity, a joy or a stress, is because I've done a lot of spontaneity in my life. Even this episode is spontaneous because the topic that I had, I just wasn't feeling it and changed it last minute spontaneously. So I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about spontaneity because I've been doing a lot of that this week, especially, and just in my life in general. It seems like all the adventures I've done, the thrill seeking adventures that I've done have been as a result of spontaneity. When I think of when I went skydiving, yes, I've gone skydiving in Fiji. I love that story. I was doing a rotation in New Zealand. So on my way home from New Zealand, I stopped in Fiji for 31-hour layover. And I'm just like, man, I'm in Fiji all by myself. What am I going to do in Fiji? Because staying in the hotel and looking at the water apparently wasn't enough. And so I saw this skydiving van go in front of the hotel. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should go skydiving. So that was a spontaneous decision. And there we go. I went skydiving. So that was nice. Same with this trip. Sometimes uncertainty can be great. Like not knowing what's next. It's exciting, it's a thrill, makes you have joy. But then sometimes uncertainty can give you anxiety and stress, and you need to plan ahead. You know, I try to focus in the moment. So a lot of times planning a trip out is stressful. Literally, a few months ago, so my sister, she lives in Detroit, so she came into Chicago. I was like, "I'm gonna be in Chicago for this conference. You need to come. You live close." My husband came with me on the front end of it. So she's just like a few months ago, like, "What are we gonna do? We should meet up with our uncle. We should do this. We should do that." So I was just like malfunctioning. You're talking about something 3 months from now. I just can't get with the flow. It was just too much for me, too much planny. So didn't have much planned out. We did some reservations maybe a couple weeks ago, but not much planned out. And so I got here Saturday morning. Friday night, before we flew out, my husband's like, "So what are we gonna do this weekend?" I'm like, "I don't know." We got plans, so I have no idea. So he's like, "I wonder is there gonna be a race on Sunday?" And at first I'm like, "A race? I don't feel like running a half marathon," says the person who ran a half marathon 2 weeks ago and has another half marathon 2 weeks from now. But, like, he found a half marathon, and he's like, "So you wanna do it?" And I looked at my list, my half marathon list, because yes, I have a list because I wanna do 100 half marathons by the age of 50, which at this rate, I'm probably gonna do it by the age of 47. So, since the Publix marathon has been my number 30 and my number 40, I'm like, "Well, I want my number 50 to be Publix." If 50 is gonna be Publix, I've been counting back which halves. I just did the 45 early October, and so I had 47, 48, 49, 50 mapped out, but nothing for 46. I'm like, "What am I gonna do?" So then he's like, "Do you wanna run this half marathon in 2 days?" Blank spot, number 46. Heck yeah. So we try to register, and it's like, online registration is closed. You have to register in person at the expo. So we get here on Saturday, we meet up with our uncle, and then we go and we register on site for a race the next day. That's why you just gotta stay ready. If you're ready for stuff, you can do spontaneous stuff. I had just ran 8 miles that early last week. I run a half marathon at least once a month, so my body is ready for stuff like that. So whether you're a runner or not, if you just stay ready for the things that bring you joy, you could just go ahead and do those and because you're already ready for it. So that was so exciting. The adrenaline of doing that spontaneous thing definitely brought joy. Of course, since I made the plan while I was still in at home, I was able to bring the things that I need to bring, like the gloves and the extra layer, because it was cold. It rained the whole time. So that's another thing, because I'm used to running in the rain. So that, hey, it is what it is. I got another race checked off. So that's one of the cases where spontaneity brings joy. But there are times when spontaneity doesn't bring joy. And, we had the dinner planned that night, but the next day on my birthday, I didn't have anything planned. So, like, my sister and I were just walking around, beautiful city. I love walking the Magnificent Mile. That's my favorite thing to do, going to the water tower. The water tower was closed. So we're like, oh, we didn't plan that out right. The spontaneous walk led us to the water tower, which was closed. So we're like, well, let's walk around the water. So this is cool. It's cool. Going with the flow is cool. Not having anything planned. It's going good. Hunger kicks in. It's like, oh wait, we need to eat lunch. Where are we gonna eat? And when you got too many people involved with like what we gonna eat, then that's when going with the flow and spontaneity kinda goes because we could not figure out what we wanted to eat. I'm like, "If only I had planned ahead of what we gonna eat for my birthday lunch, we wouldn't be in this place." So that was a case where it became a stressor not having a plan. So there is a nice little balance that we need to create when it comes to being spontaneous and having plans. Sometimes spontaneity frees us up, and that's how I feel when I don't have every single thing planned out for a trip or for a week. And other times spontaneity can frustrate us, like I mentioned. I mean, the difference is how aligned it is with what you really actually want to do. If I really actually want to not plan nothing, cool. If I know I need to eat, maybe I should have a plan for what we're going to eat, especially if it's on my birthday. Our brains crave predictability. We do need that. We need to have something planned at some point, right? Because of safety. It's for our safety, but also we crave novelty, things that are new, things that aren't planned, things that are spontaneous so we can have joy. So predictability creates safety, but spontaneity and novelty creates joy. Too much routine can be dull. It can dull our spark, while too much spontaneity can heighten stress. And some people lean towards needing to plan and needing that certainty, while other people lean towards uncertainty and like feeling too stressed out by too much plan. Because I know the way I feel when it comes to planning a trip, I don't like to have every single thing in place. Because I'm like, well, what if something else pops up that I want to do? And then now I have this other thing planned. We done booked the tickets, and now it's too late to switch. And now I'm stressed out because this other thing popped up. I mean, honestly, we were planning on going to the Bears game. That's another reason why we did everything planned, but the tickets were too expensive. So we were just like, yeah, we're not buying tickets. So good thing we didn't buy tickets because then I wouldn't have been able to spontaneously do the race. So it's kind of like when to be spontaneous and when not. But when it comes to joy and mental wellness, because that's what all this is about, balance is everything. When is the time to be spontaneous? When is the time to plan and have everything planned out? Too much routine can make life feel predictable, stable, or stale, rather. I mean, routine is nice stability, but sometimes too much routine and too much predictability can be like a stale feeling and just feel like kind of uninspired if you just every day the same thing, every day on repeat. But of course, too much spontaneity can leave you anxious if it's too much, right? And you don't know what's going on. You got to plan at the last minute. You anxious. You can feel ungrounded, constantly reacting to chaos. Way I feel about planning ahead is that I'm thinking ahead as opposed to being in the present. I like to focus on the present. So you see how there's a back and forth with that as far as the balance of things and as far as when to do what. So it's a matter of when do we do it. So in mental health terms, both extremes can increase stress, and both extremes can increase the stress hormones like cortisol and deplete dopamine. That's the neurotransmitter linked to motivation and pleasure. So too much spontaneity can do that, and or too much planny can do that as well. So our brains crave both. We crave the safety of structure, and we crave the thrill of novelty, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this last minute. Oh, that just felt good." I was telling everybody, they're like people that I hadn't seen in a while at the conference, they're like, "Are you still running?" I'm like, "Look what I did. I signed up for a race last minute." I was just so excited. So it felt good, right? So it feels good to be spontaneous and do things that you haven't planned out. And so, routine creates that psychological safety, as I mentioned before. It lowers that uncertainty, especially if you're a person that gets anxious by uncertainty. And it keeps your brain from staying in fight or flight mode. Because if you're always like, nothing's planned, what am I supposed to do? What am I gonna do this? What am I gonna do today? What am I gonna do tomorrow? Then you're like in this kind of like fight or flight mode, this unpredictable mode. So having predictable habits like waking up at the same time, a morning ritual, exercise, journaling, that sends your nervous system a message of I'm safe. I'm safe. I know what's next. I know what's happening. And that too can create joy if you feel safe. Because without some structure, anxiety increases and your brain burns more energy trying to make sense of what comes next. So, I mean, what are some signs that routine, that there may be too much routine? You might feel uninspired or detached from your daily life. If this is like the same routine day after day, going through the motions without excitement or creativity, you're resisting change, you don't want change, even though change could actually bring joy. So that's where that balance is. Routine is safe, but too much of it can make you feel uninspired, not motivated, and then you still end up losing your joy. So trying to introduce, if you're the person that has to do the same routine, I mean, if doing the same routine actually helps, then, ooh, you don't have nothing to change. But if you are noticing that doing the same thing and not enough spontaneity and flexibility in your schedule is creating a lack of joy, then introduce one micro change a week. Take a new route to work. And that's a change, especially if you're real rigid in what you're doing. Try a new workout. I mean, your body needs change, that's for sure. You can't do the same exact workout. Switch your playlist, switch the kind of music you do. Even the small pieces of novelty that you might incorporate in your daily routine can spark that dopamine, that reward, that exciting adrenaline without destabilizing your whole entire routine. You need a routine. I talk about that all the time, so it's okay. But why does spontaneity matter? Spontaneity feeds your spirit. It feels good. It engages curiosity, creativity, and presence, reminding you that life isn't only to be managed, life is to be lived. We gotta have some things that are just like, oh, let's do this. That's not just planned. Even for those folks out there with the highest anxiety, yeah, exposure. Exposure helps with that. And I know that you are scared and doing something different, doing something uncomfortable increases your anxiety. But hey, once you go to therapy and are able to do those things that give you anxiety, you can tap into a life of spontaneity and that will feel good. So I get that there's people out there who are anxious and need things to say the same. But moments of healthy spontaneity actually help release endorphins and serotonin. Endorphins are those things that come out when you're exercising, creates pleasure and feeling good. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that reduces depression, anxiety, helps with sleep, reduces aggression. So, healthy spontaneity, a little bit of here and there, can actually release those neurotransmitters, and your brain's natural mood boosters. So if you are tapping into those natural boosters, you are actually tapping into something that a medication actually gives you. Isn't that awesome? Your brain releases these things? Yeah. However, too much spontaneity, constant last minute decisions, lack of planning, or overcommitting at the last minute can actually hide your anxiety and decision fatigue. So we need that balance. When every moment is uncertain, your brain stays in alert mode, leading to irritability, restlessness, and burnout. So, what are the signs that there may be too much spontaneity? You feel scatterbrained. You feel overwhelmed because just nothing planned. You're just doing everything last minute. You're always on. You're always just like, whoa, whoa, what am I supposed to do? What do I got to do? And you're rarely at peace. When you have something planned, you're at peace. And you find yourself craving, like, I need the calm. I need some calmness. I need some peace. And you can't sit still and you can't plan ahead. So tips for those who are doing too much spontaneity out there, anchor that spontaneity inside the structure. You need to have structure. It's okay to be spontaneous, but anchor it inside the structure. Like planning unscheduled time. Well, you're a planner and you're planning lots of things. Plan a time to be unscheduled. Put that on your list. There's a spontaneity block in your week where you choose in the moment what to do. But you already set aside time for it. So it's like, yeah, it's a balance of both. So keeping a core routine is important, not a rigid one. Protecting the non-negotiables. You gotta have sleep. Let's not be so impulsive that we don't sleep or change those. You gotta make sure you have good meals, healthy meals, movement, exercise, and quiet time. So allow flexibility in how or when you do the rest of your routine. But sleep, meals, movement, quiet time, non-negotiable. Let's keep that the same. Let's get those right. Because I know for me, when I do things spontaneous, I need to realize that, that spontaneity thing is actually going to affect my sleep, like doing the race last weekend. Saturday morning, I had to wake up at 4 or something to get on the flight. Then I knew, I'm like, oh, this race is at 7 a.m. on Sunday. So gonna have to get up at 4 a.m. again because the race was about 40 minutes, 45 minutes from Chicago. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get no sleep this weekend. And yeah, it feels great, but that lack of sleep builds up. So therefore, on my birthday, I'm just like, I'm supposed to be feeling fun, but I actually need sleep. So try your best not to alter sleep if you're going to be spontaneous. Easier said than done, of course. The joy check in, I always talk about that. Before you say yes to something spontaneous, ask, well, is this going to fill me up or is this going to drain me? Plan for joy. The same way you can add in an unscheduled spontaneity block, plan for joy. Schedule small adventures. Joy doesn't have to be random. It can be intentional. So have intention to make sure you are doing some joy. So you can plan for a particular joy and you can plan for a spontaneity block where this Friday I have nothing planned. I'm going to be spontaneous on that day. I'm going to pick what to do. That's a good balance. I mean, if your whole week is like spontaneous, then that's where the stress can come in at for sure. And I've already mentioned creating a recovery space because if you don't plan to recover from the things that you are spontaneous in, then that definitely affects you as well. So the balance, spontaneity, is it a joy or is it a stress? We got to pair the stability that we need for safety with the novelty that we need for joy. So remember that. It's not all or none. It's a good mix, and you know what works for you. So joy lives in the dance between structure and surrender. Surrendering your schedule, but also having that structure when you need to. Routine grounds your nervous system. Spontaneity awakens your soul. So knowing when to do what is important for your joy. Thank you for listening tonight. I'm here quick with you because I'm here for a conference. So there's a couple of receptions tonight. Thank you for listening. I'll be here next week at the same time at 7 p.m. with Tia Baruti. She is going to be my special guest. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. She is a breast cancer survivor. And so that's going to be really rewarding and empowering to talk with her. Again, as you know, I have my books, The Enjoyno. It is a wellness journal that can help you with balancing your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health, as well as the book Wife Inspired Joy for the Wife Mom Boss, Balancing It All Without Losing Yourself. That's 1749 on drenjoylife.com. You can also buy the Inspired Joy for the Wife Mom Boss along with the Enjoyno. It is the Joy Bundle for $45 at drenjoylife.com. Thank you for listening. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 12 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoyno to help you on your wellness journey. Also check out Inspired Joy for the Wife Mom Boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy Bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.